Let's make it a good day.
Coming up today, who went home on Dancing with the Stars? And are folks turning on a fan favorite? Then one of our favorite chefs, Yi Vang, is back with us to talk about a new project. And of course, he's going to make something.
Hold my hand, I'll squeeze it back.
And the story of Zach Sobiech has touched the world as Clouds becomes a huge hit for Disney+. Just ahead, we'll talk to two of the people closest to Zach's heart. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I just realized I'm very tan in a lot of those images. Welcome to the very pale Jason Show. I'm very not tanned Jason Matheson. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Please give it up for my sidekick sister from oh, the music's already gone. Oh, is the show? Wow, they were just like moving around. It's like, come on. Please give it up for Kendall, everybody. Good morning.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well today. How are you?
I'm doing well. You look lovely. I love. Is that new?
No, but I never get to wear it because green screen.
Oh, that's
So,
right. You'll disappear.
I'll disappear, so it's kind of fun. I get to break some things out of the closet that I don't normally now that I'm not on a green screen in the morning.
You look fantastic.
Thank
Tip
you.
to tail. I mean, everything.
Thank you. Thank you. I wore the sparkle shoes because it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday and it's snowing outside. And I don't want to beat this because, look, it's Minnesota. People make fun of us on Twitter. We complain about this every year.
Yep.
It is, but it is a little early. And my mother is jokingly mad at me.
Yeah.
She said, look, I'm in Louisiana and I'm there and there's a record 2 giant hurricanes. She comes up here, what happens? We get snow in like October. And I said, Mom, I swear this does, because I kept telling her, don't worry, Mom, it's not going to snow until like November. I just told her this 2 weeks ago. And then she called me yesterday. She's like, wow. She doesn't mind it though. I mean, again, I've said it. She likes the snow, but maybe not quite this early.
I don't blame her. I don't think I like the snow too. I'm kind of like, what happened to fall, y'all?
Well, but we did have a good, here, I try to spin things to be positive. We did have a great September, didn't we, friends? We did. Think about how great our September was.
It was pretty warm and nice.
Yeah, and I told her, I'm like, you're really lucking out. Well, now the bill's due. Now we have to pay the bill.
Here it is. And then you see like the full week and you're like, and there might be some rain and snow here. And
Just
there
a little
might
bit.
be a little here. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'm gonna. This isn't in the hot dish, but this because we don't cover news like this. But did you hear about that CNN analyst who did a Zoom call and he did it without like pants on?
Stop.
Yeah.
Another one?
And yeah, another one. Who are you zooming? But anyway, so this guy did this, and now he's in trouble, and he's going to be suspended. But I bring this up for one reason. If you're going to do a Zoom call, put your pants on. You know what I mean? Why not? Why? Isn't that just a good general rule? If you're going to be on an internet camera, keep your britches on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And what if you have to like evacuate and the camera's still rolling and you're like, whoopsies.
Well, and anything can happen. I mean, you know what I mean? I get it. When we did the home show, the Jason show, I would wear like shorts.
Right.
But I'm not standing, I'm not sitting there naked. You know what I mean?
No, I wore, one time I had on my yoga pants but I had a blanket on over me. And my camera did start to tilt down at the very end of my segment. And I was like, everyone's going to see this blanket, which is embarrassing enough. But yeah, to not have pants on.
Can you imagine? And then in front of your coworkers, oh my, I would move to Yugoslavia. You know what I mean? You would never,
that doesn't even exist
horrifying.
anymore.
It doesn't, but anyway. But if it did, that's right. Remember, we figured that out a couple weeks ago. But if it did, that's where I would move. My point is, in this age of Zooms, keep your clothes on, okay?
Please.
Seriously. Ted, Leo, everybody, Steve in the book, everybody, keep your clothes on.
For the love of all things
For the love of, that's the last thing you need. Oh, yeah, Jeff too. Executive producer Jeff.
Keep your pants on.
Who's not here this week. He's on vacation. I did see him yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah. How long did it take? We need an update.
He was very nice. I gave Jeff a TV, and I went over there, and I've never seen Jeff's house. Executive producer Jeff and I have been friends for 20 years.
Yep.
I've never been invited to his home. And I got out of the car, I go, is this where you live? Like, hello? But I made him really uncomfortable. I tried to stay as long as I could. I asked him for a sandwich. He refused.
Nope.
Told me to get out of his house.
Oh, so it was like 3 minutes.
It was about 2 minutes. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. Okay, let's start with the DWTS. It was a shocking night on Dancing with the Stars, as one of the frontrunners winds up in the bottom two. Sadly, kind of deserved it. Before we tell you who, it is time for the FCC-mandated spoiler alert animation. That's right, that just protects me from getting hateful emails. If anyone was vulnerable last night, it was our friend, I'm sorry to admit this, Alan Burston. Alan, we all have an off day. Half of this show is a bad day, seriously. Alan, half of our shows. Alan and his partner, Sky Jackson, they just weren't the best. The two scored the lowest of the night with their cha-cha. Look.
They don't understand the back talk I'm foreign. When they think they top the queen, they start falling. Or to my ex shots, I'm so cheeky. Got them trying to pop my ex like young Kiki.
Okay, did you guys see? Take a look at that clip. You can see Alan coaching her the whole time. I mean, and that kind of takes away from the fun. You know what I mean? If you're just, okay, step to the right, step to the left. The duo scored 6s across the board. Not good, especially at this point in the season. But in a 2020 miracle, it was like Tiny Tim showed up at the set. They were not in the bottom two, shockingly. Because again, I love him, but I'm going to be honest in my critique. Even though Alan's our buddy, I think he deserved to be in the bottom two.
Yeah, having to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
And the outfits were very distracting and not in a good way. The costumes, I didn't think.
Well,
that doesn't help.
That makes me sad you said that, because I was going to ask if we could wear those. I want to do a matching, get matching ones and do the show with those.
Oh, great.
Could you imagine the
Should
bosses?
we cha-cha too?
Let's do it. Oh my goodness. If we wore that on the show, the emails that would fly from our bosses.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Mary and
Heaven
Mim
and
Davey. Oh my goodness, in her office. The landing in the bottom two was former football player Vernon Davis, and in the shock heard round the dancing world, figure skater Johnny Weir. He has been seen as a front runner, but has struggled with the more traditional dances, and in the end, spoiler alert again, Vernon was sent packing. Now, I went around the internets, the webs, and
All of them.
all of them. I looked at the entire internet last night, Kendall. But I went around the webs, and people are getting, I should say people, I hate the generality. A lot of fans of the show getting sick of Johnny Weir.
Oh, I don't watch the show, so why do you think that is?
It's just, as my friend Stephanie Hansen says, you're at a 14, I need you at a 7.
Oh.
She says that to me a lot, and it's very valid.
No, I can see that. So he does, is it the Westminster Club dog show? He does something
Yes.
with, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And he can be that way. When he's just in his element and just playing it cool and being his educated, wonderful self,
Yeah.
fabulous. But he always seems to think he needs to go up here.
Well, and
So-
I interviewed him once, and I was really excited to interview him. And again, I don't think he was having the best day, so you cut him some slack.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It may be time for him to go home. Next in the dish. Might be.
Hot
I'm
take.
just saying, just hot take. Next in the dish. Hey, sad news this morning. Jeff Bridges, you may have seen this in your social media feed, told fans he's battling cancer. In a couple of the tweets he sent, new bleep has come to light. He's been diagnosed with lymphoma, but says he has a good team of doctors and the prognosis is good. He thanked everyone for their support and reminded them to vote. Jeff won, if you don't know, an Oscar for Best Actor in Crazy Heart. He's one of the best actors of this generation, without a doubt. I mean, if you make a list, Jeff Bridges is on there. And I would argue, too, one of the most under-loved is his brother, Lloyd Bridges. I love Lloyd. But anyway, and then his father, of course, his brother, Beau Bridges, and his father, Lloyd Bridges. Whole dynasty. But listen to some of these movies. You ready? This
Yeah.
is just Jeff, the Big Lebowski.
Duh.
I could stop right there. We could roll break, but Ted would yell at me. Tron from Disney. Ever seen Tron?
Yes.
Okay. Last Picture Show, cut to black, fade to black. With Sybil Shepherd, it's a classic. The Last Picture Show, don't worry if you haven't seen it. Starman, my mother loved that movie. That was in the 80s.
Okay.
He played an alien man. Fisher King, again. Any one of these movies you would want. 2 of these movies you want in your portfolio. The man's done all of this. And then Fabulous Baker Boys with my pretend girlfriend, Michelle Pfeiffer. I love her.
He's great. His array of movies.
Yes, he's done it all.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Lebowski is one thing, and then you've got like the Western romances, True Grit type things.
Yeah. And then you have Tron.
And
where
then
he's-
Tron, yeah.
he's throwing
Out
a
of nowhere.
computerized disc. But anyway, Michelle Pfeiffer again. I love her. I know she's married, and I'm married too, and I'm gay. But if you take
Small
away
note.
all of that, I love her.
Good.
Lots more to come. We'll be back right after this, everybody. There's a lot of things you have to.
The hot dish isn't finished. Coming up next, 2 Netflix shows to chat about. I finished The Haunting of Bly Manor. Was the end as good as the beginning? And then, how about the new season of Unsolved Mysteries? Then, he's one of the hottest chefs in the area. Yi Vang is back to cook and tell us about his new project. And the story of Zach Sobiak has touched so many. And Clouds is a huge hit on Disney+. Coming up, we'll be joined by 2 of the people closest to Zach's heart. That's coming up, so stay right there.
What have you in that canister, Borat?
I have very grave news.
Oh.
Kazakhstan intelligence services have made discovery this morning that there is a virus.
Oh,
It come from a place called Wuhan, which is in Israel. Yes, there's no surprise. They are spreading everything.
oh no! You're saying
Do not
this is
worry.
an
Please.
Israeli virus? Are you talking about the coronavirus?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, it spread from the you-know-whos.
Yeah. I actually,
Don't worry, no problem.
yeah, don't think it came from Israel.
Don't worry.
But what is
There's
this?
one there.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is one.
That's they're not.
There's one.
Yeah, they're not necessarily something that you can pound to death. The virus
Yes.
is microscopically small. No.
Well, there is.
Why do I feel like I'm no
There.
it's glass? All
No,
right.
no, it's
What
fine.
for-
None
what-
there.
Yeah.
One
let
there.
it- Okay, all right. All right.
Well, that's what happens when you have Borat on your show. It maintains order for about 4 seconds, and then it goes off the rails. It's Borat on Kimmel last night. His new movie will debut on Amazon Prime on Friday. I'm going to be watching it. I think I'm watching it today. I get a little sneak preview Kindle.
Oh, nice.
You know, you get those kind of things when you get a show with your name on it. You get little VHSs.
You get the Borat.
You get the Borat. So I'll give you my review. But we had Borat on our show one time, and this, I just remembered this as we came back from break, and I think he cussed it was a satellite interview. And if you want to see executive producer Jeff, remember in The Wizard of Oz when the witch just melts?
Yeah.
That's executive producer Jeff when there's turmoil in the studio. He just melts. Because you know there's going to be, when that happens, it's a huge deal. When a guest cusses, I don't want that for you guys watching.
No.
And then, we get an $8 bazillion bill. So Jeff shrinks, but I think Borat said a bad word when we had him on.
The Borat.
The
You
point-
cannot hold him back.
Yeah, the point of the story is I don't know if we'll have Borat booked. I don't want to see Jeff do that. I don't want that anymore. Next in the dish, the creator of SNL, Lorne Michaels, sat down for an interview with Willie Geist. I love Willie. And talked about what makes the show so successful, even after all these years, and doing the comedy during these difficult times. Listen.
Our job is mostly to entertain, but to do it with a level of intelligence, but still has to make you laugh.
If your mom likes chicken, you might like chicken.
I think if you start to think that you're doing important work, not a good sign.
So, Lauren, I'm interested in asking you about sort of SNL at these times of tragedy. 9/11, who could forget the
Yeah.
show where you stood there with Rudy
Yeah.
Giuliani?
Can we be funny? Why start now?
How do you view the role of SNL in these moments where people are grieving and people are in pain?
If you have an audience, you build up and earn trust. They know you're going to deliver.
I know you're not terribly haughty about your show, but
Yeah.
do you think it's important for SNL to be here for people in these times when they're
I
not
do.
feeling great?
I do, and not in any grand way. I just think it's our job, and that's what we do.
What's the most important?
He's right. Lauren says he hopes to stick around for the show's 50th anniversary, which is 5 years away. I said this when we were, I don't know, I mean, we talk about SNL a lot, but I said it recently where you may not like the current cast, you may not like the political stuff, which always cracks me up a little bit because SNL's always been political, but you may not like anything about it, but you have to give them their props. Because in an era where everything on network television, is kind of shrinking, ratings, because it's a fractured audience. People are, we don't just have 4 choices anymore. We have 400 choices. Mm-hmm. The fact that SNL continues to persevere and grow. I mean, their season premiere a couple weeks ago was their highest in 4 years. That's incredible.
Right.
It proves that it's an institution, whether you love it or hate it, on any given year.
And the fact that he's been able to steer that ship for so long, when things go wrong on other shows, sports, you think of even, something goes wrong and it's like, oh, that guy's out, that girl's out.
Well,
and he's kind of,
Well, and just like the talk show, SNL if you go to other countries, talk shows are a very quintessential American thing, the whole Johnny Carson format with the desk and a microphone and a monologue. It's very American. Yeah, there are talk shows in Britain and the like, but SNL is a very American thing. And think about all the stars that have come from it, that have worked, that have passed through the studio. Julie Louis-Dreyfus and Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall and Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock, Randy Quaid. I mean, I could go on. Bill Murray.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah. I mean, it's just over and over. My favorite, Gilda Radner. Love Gilda. Next in the dish, a couple weeks ago, I talked about one of my new best things ever, Netflix's new show called Away. Well, in a classic 2020 move, it's going away. Netflix has seen enough. They've canceled it after just 1 season. Netflix says they will not order a second season. So if you haven't watched it, it's sci-fi, but yet I call it a sci-fi family show with Hilary Swank as an astronaut on a mission to Mars. It had ranked in Netflix's top 10 for much of September, including holding the #1 spot for a couple days, and then it went down to #2. Netflix isn't commenting on the decision, but according to Deadline, they weigh cost versus global audience when making these types of decisions. I get this. If you just saw the video there, I was telling Kendall, this show was so expensive because it is set in space, split. It's on Earth too, but set in space. Every episode looks like a movie. Every single episode. It looks like that movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and pretty boy George Clooney. It looks like that. But I am really bummed. This show was one of my favorites of this year. Without a doubt, one of my favorites of this year. Josh Charles, Hilary Swank gets all the accolades. Josh Charles from The Good Wife, he is phenomenal. And what I liked about it wasn't just a space show. It was about the human impact of when mom is in space and the father is down here with a teenage daughter. The teenage daughter doesn't have her mom. What's the repercussions of that? Mom's going to be away for 3 years. It really wasn't about space. It was about the family. I'm bummed.
Do you think someone else will pick it up? I mean, you look at HBO, they pay what, millions of dollars per episode for Game of Thrones at the end?
Yeah, I don't think so. It doesn't have the popularity. And again, I'm sure it's $1 bazillion per episode. But anyway, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this first season. Next in the dish, over the weekend, I finished up The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix. It's a follow-up to The Haunting of Hill House, and it follows a governess hired by a guy to look after his creepy niece and nephew. And then she starts to see things. And that's basically putting the plot really mildly. Kendall, also, you finished it as well?
Literally last night, yeah.
So a lot of people didn't like it before I even started watching it. They said it was a little boring. I came on the air and I disagreed. I really enjoyed it, the first 2, 3, 4 episodes. And then in the middle, it got really boring. It dipped. It It felt like they could have done this season with 3 fewer episodes, and it would have picked the pace up of everything. But I will tell you, the ending I personally liked. I was satisfied with it. Was it knockdown scary like Hill House? No. But I really enjoyed the finale. You?
I didn't watch Hill House, and so I don't
Okay.
have a lot to compare it to. I really enjoyed the twists that are around the episodes you're talking about. But I
Yes.
think when I watched with Jordan, he was very, very confused. Like until the very end of the show, I still had to explain it to him, and it all wrapped up. So if you're not really paying attention, you're not into that world of like make-believe, I guess I could put it that way, it might not be for you.
Yeah. And they do over-explain a lot. I heard that criticism, and I didn't get it. But then when I watched it, I thought, yeah, they really do. They really explain stuff, which also slows down the momentum.
Right, which I thought, but Jordan was confused. So I guess maybe it's not that over-explained.
Oh, Jordan.
He likes to leave the room, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his own fault.
It's all right. Next in the dish, another show I'm loving. I watched a couple episodes of the new season of Unsolved Mysteries. But before I get into it, and I'm just going to talk about the first episode, here's a clip from the show. Look at this. Oh, wait, yeah.
Video was obtained that showed that Jack had been inside a pharmacy on the 29th in Old Newcastle, not far from Jack's house.
Jack's a familiar figure in this pharmacy. This is where he gets his prescriptions filled whenever he's in Newcastle. But this time, he's looking for a ride to Wilmington.
There were a couple of people that were in the pharmacy at the time that heard the conversation and offered to take Jack to Wilmington.
Okay, so what you're seeing is footage. That's Jack Wheeler right there. Jack Wheeler, it was a well-renowned presidential aide to George H.W. Bush. He was a Washington insider. I think the episode's actually called Washington Insider. He also was instrumental. He played a role in the Vietnam Memorial. And like I said, he worked for several presidents in various capacities. Well, in 2010, and you may remember the story on the news, Jack Wheeler was found dead in a landfill in Delaware right after New Year's, or right after the new year. That footage I just showed you right there, that's one of the last pieces of footage found of him on the 29th. He went into that pharmacy, as you heard the narrator say. They knew him there. He took a cab, and they're not quite sure why he did that. And then the next time you see him, he's without a shoe, and he looks disheveled. And then the next time you see him, he's wearing a black hoodie. So you don't really know, how did this Washington insider, well-connected, how did he and why did he end up in a landfill in Delaware? It's shocking. I mean, and there's a couple different theories, but I'll let those unravel for you. I want you to watch the episode. I don't want to tell you everything, but really good. A great first episode of this season.
I was going to ask, is it as good as the first episode as the last season? Because that was the one I really remember where the guy, they couldn't figure out how he jumped, possibly.
Not as good, but almost equal.
Okay, because that was like, I could not figure it out.
Yeah. The second episode, you can skip that one.
Oh.
Not great.
Okay.
This one, watch. The 12-part reboot of Unsolved Mysteries, that's both seasons, is now available on Netflix. Make sure, it's so good. I love this reboot. They did a great job. Still ahead, everybody. We're chatting with Chef Yi Vang about his plans for the winter as he gets ready to open up a brand new restaurant. And then Zach Sobiek's story touched a lot of people, and now it's become a movie. Coming up, we talk with his real-life best friend and girlfriend about clouds. Stay right there, everybody. Much more ahead. Welcome back, everyone. Well, our next guest is preparing to open his new restaurant in the spring, and in the meantime, he's not slowing down. He's moving into a new location. Please welcome back to our show our good friend, the amazing Chef Yi Vang. Hello, Chef.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
Okay, I always try to start with a compliment, and this is an easy one. My producer Ted said in my ear before we came to you, he said, Yia has perhaps the best setup for any cooking segment we've ever seen on the show. And he's not wrong, my friend.
Oh, thanks, man. This is so fun. We get to do this rain, shine, or snow out here. So,
What?
this is actually the backyard of our new building, Vinay.
I was gonna
So
say.
it's kind of the backyard.
I was gonna say, do you have a license for those things, Ia? What are those?
Jason, I just go no English, Yeah, so these are clay pot grills. And a lot of Southeast Asian households, especially Hmong households, we have them. You can actually go to any Asian market and buy them. And I bought a bunch. I bought literally like 20 of them. And then I've sold them off to some friends. And, and so we're dorking out and trying some new things here. And so, yeah, so there's no excuse for not grilling year round. So.
Okay, so I said in the intro, my friend, the restaurant's going to open in spring. But in the meantime, tell the folks what you're doing, because you're not going to take the winter off.
No, it's one of those things. I tell people there's an old Hmong saying that says, if it's not snowing, we're not going. I just made that up. But anyways, the truth is that we're Minnesotans, right? So regardless of what happens, we still got to find a way. We still got to figure it out. So we're actually teaming up with Republic. And Republic is it's a restaurant owned by Maddie. It's Maddie O'Reilly, and it's in the Seven Corners area. And we're taking over their food program. So we're taking over their kitchen, but they're still running the bar. So it's Republic in Seven Corners there, and we're really excited. We're just moving in right now, and then October 23rd we start there.
Yeah, and I've said this to a couple of restaurateurs that have come on the show, and I think it's just such a great thing to continuously highlight. Yes, the industry is in turmoil with COVID. Yes, things are bad. But what I'm pulling as a positive, I am seeing such amazing collaborations between local restaurateurs. People are really working together, and it's great to see. Are you seeing, you're obviously seeing it with your partnership with Republic, but isn't it a net positive, something we can pull from this?
It definitely is. My mom and dad, when they were in the refugee camp and during the war and they had to escape, the one thing my father taught me when we were kids was the fact that no matter what happened, no matter how hard it got, that we would come together, and that's how we would make it through. And I take that lesson to me every morning as I get up and as I meet with other restaurateurs and other chefs and says, how can we come together? Next week we're teaming up with the Healing Hotel, and we're doing an outdoor event. As we're doing these things, it's not about ego. It's not about pride. It's not about bringing people into my restaurant. It's actually about how do we come together. And that's a lesson my mother and my father has taught me through everything that our people have gone through.
Well, and it's great, too. I'm so glad that you made that point, because in these collaborations, what I'm not seeing, it's what you exactly said. I'm not seeing ego. And look, I love when people throw the ego thing around. Everybody has an ego. But what I mean by that is I'm seeing these collaborations and nobody's arguing about whose name is first on the menu and who does this and who gets credit. It's further proof that we live in a really wonderful food community.
Absolutely. When this came up and Maddie just said, hey, would you want to try this? We actually were going to Maddie to help him see if he could help us find a different place, a different spot for the winter. And he's like, I have an idea. And he opened up his own spot. And to me, that's huge. He's been a fan of us for the last 5-6 years. He's always, been someone who's always cheered for us, anything that we need help on. So it's just incredible to see this collaboration, these things that we're putting together.
Now, Yi is going to be cooking for us in the next segment, but I will end this part of the conversation by asking you, because one of the things that you'll be able to get at Republic, everybody, is Yi's famous fried chicken sandwich. And I want to ask you, Yi, everybody, everybody does a version. I shouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of folks do fried chicken and do it well. For you, what is the key to an amazing fried chicken sandwich?
It's the dredge. Like when you put it in the flour dredge, leave it overnight. As it does that, it actually dries it out, the outside, and that's how you create a crust. And so for us, instead of using regular flour, we use tapioca starch, rice flour, and cornstarch. And without knowing it, we actually realized that we're making gluten-free fried chicken. So all the gluten-free people were really happy with us.
Oh,
it was more. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, so that's interesting. So if people are watching at home, that's just a good tip. No matter what the breading or the batter is, leave it soaked overnight. Am I hearing you right?
Yep. So when you bread it, just leave it overnight. You know, if you're doing it at home, put it in a Ziploc bag, squeeze all the air out of it, and just leave that dredge in it with, you know, salt, pepper, garlic, whatever you want, and leave it overnight, because what that does is it helps dries it out. And then, you know, then you can do your batter and then just, you know, fry it. And then we do the double fried method where we fry it first real hot. And we fry it first until it's cooked. And then we do a second really hot, so it creates a crust on the outside, but inside still moist.
So good. Okay, keep the
now people know, so they can open their own place, I guess.
No one will do it like you, my friend. Okay, so Yia is staying right there. When we come back, more with the chef right after this. We're cooking after this message. More with Yia Vang, everybody. Our chef friend, one of the best. Don't forget to visit and take advantage of the residency at Republic. Show support to these great local restaurants. Okay, back with Yia. What are we making, my friend? Oh, wait, now you've added stuff, Yia. What's going on?
Yeah. So here is a really cool thing. We want to do, you know, like right now with social distancing and these people that are potting together. You know, you can get a group of up to 6 to 10 people. And what we're doing is we created these really awesome, you know, kind of dinner together. We just call it our combined feast. And basically what we do is when you come in, you can go online, go to our website, and you can, you know, on Talk, and you can reserve it. 6 to 8 people. You come in and we take a table and we fill it, we line it up with banana leaves. And then we just put all these kinds of different meats and veggies on it. So we have some grilled root vegetables right now. There's some really good root vegetables. We have some grilled ribeye over here. This is just a way of doing a grilled chicken. So we took a piece of chicken, we debone it, have it flat on our grill, and then you just kind of throw it over the wood fire. We have our sticky rice in our steamer here. We have some pork, some mung sausage, and then we have some shrimp. And we lay this, and then we have some noodles, and then we lay this all in the middle of the table, and then everyone just eats together. So, you know, it's the way that we done it and the way that we set it up. It's, you kind of have your own private dining area, and there's, you know, between 6 to 8 people that can dine in there. And so, yeah, so this is, we just call this our V-night gathering. And the people that you're potting with, the people that you are, you know, social distancing with, it's a creative way to kind of get people to come in and, you know, eat with people that they're familiar and they feel safe around.
Yeah, in the creation of the restaurant, did it force you to kind of think differently as far as how to serve it?
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things is people have just said, you know, we can never go back to dining the way that we have. And I just choose not to believe that. You know,
Yeah.
I think that, you know, eating together is what's about. And especially when we have, you know, look, we have Thanksgiving coming up, you know, and that's, and I think that people are around other people enough. And, you know, this is not me as a medical person, anything saying this. This is just me watching friends and family. We're around people enough to know that, hey, these are the people that I feel safe around. These are the people that we're potting together, and they still want to eat, and they still want to eat together. And so one of the things that we've been doing is we've been getting a lot of requests for smaller, like, you know, wedding catering, smaller party caterers, anywhere from 12 to 15 people.
Well, and I agree with you, too. I choose to be a little optimistic. I think, you know, when we get safely on the other side of this and there's vaccines and therapeutics, I actually think people will be yearning for more communal experiences. We are going to be so done with Zooms and working from our extra bedroom. No, I'm serious. Don't you think? Yeah, I think it's actually going to be the opposite. I think there's going to be a run on communal experiences.
I completely agree. I mean, you know, that's the idea. The idea is hope. You know, as we're building out our restaurant, there's this 10 top table that we're putting in there, and some of our design specialists were like, hey, we should move that out, and so we can have 2 separate tables, so we can make, you know, from a business decision, we can make more money on that. And I said, no, let's keep that table. Let's keep this big 10 top table that a friend of mine from college, he's making it for us. And if we can't sit that table, at least that's a symbol of hope of what's to come. And I think that's the way I'm looking at this, is the what's to come. Like, you know, being able to offer hope, being able to say, hey, like, I know it's really, you know, it stinks right now and things are hard right now, but there's this hope to come, and us really thinking about that and thinking through that instead of sitting here and, you know, saying, oh, this stinks and I can't go anywhere and then we can't do anything, you know. And So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of me just trying to figure out how to turn a frown upside down.
Well, I got to tell you, you're one of my favorites, and whatever we can do to shine a light on the good work that you do, we'll always do. And I'll just leave you with this. I'm dying to know what the neighbors think is going on. All the people behind, like the houses behind you, they must be like, there's a camera, there's a fire. Like, what are the neighbors thinking right now?
Our neighbors are incredible here, man. Like, they're so cool. Like, our neighbor here to the left, Daniel, he's amazing. And the guy in the back, he actually comes to the fence and he's just kind of like, he'll just be like, what's going on out there? And we have conversations. So the neighbors here are amazing.
I love it. Well, so are you, my friend. Continued success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah. Yia Vang, everybody. For more information, head to unionkitchenmn.com, and you can find Yia on Instagram. He's great to follow. Just search for, you guessed it, Chef Yia Vang. Coming up in just a little bit, my friends, if you haven't seen the movie Clouds, our next guest will make you want to drop everything and watch it. It's such a great story. Next, stay with us.
Have you looked on YouTube? You have 20,000 views? You should be happy. I thought this is what you wanted.
Doesn't really matter what I want because it's not gonna happen.
It's not fair.
Stop! I have nothing to give you. No ring,
Zach.
no future, nothing.
Zach!
There's so much in there that the world needs to hear. What are you gonna do with it? This is insane.
Just breathe.
We'll go up, up, but I'll fly a little higher.
Are you him? You know. Up, up, up.
Yeah, I'm Zach.
It's my favorite song.
In the end, I just want to make people happy. I, Zachary Sobiak, am asking you.
Yes!
Please.
That's a clip from the new movie Clouds on Disney+. It's the story of Zach Sobiak, a Minnesota teen who died from cancer back in 2013, but not before making a name for himself as a musician and as just an angel here on Earth. It's streaming now, as I said, on Disney+. And some of the people you get to know in the movie are his girlfriend Amy and best friend Samantha, and a real-life Amy and real-life Sammy, which is very weird to say, but they're here joining us now. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, we were trying to set this up. Both the ladies were a guest on my radio show, and I just want to say thank you to the both of you for coming on this show, too. Let's start with the news of the weekend. Clouds, the song, is back at #1. Amy, your reaction when you heard that?
Oh my gosh, I think it was stunning. We saw it climbing on the charts Saturday morning, and to see that people were listening to the actual version by Zach was just so unreal. And then it hit #1, so we couldn't believe it.
Sammy, let me turn to you. You know, there's a clip in the movie there, and I don't know how fictionalized, or I should say dramatized it is, when Zach is seeing the YouTube views go up and up and up, no pun intended there, but what was that like? Take us to that moment where your friend group, the whole group and Zach, was realizing, oh my goodness, this is turning into something.
Yeah, well, I think one thing that the movie really gets right is how much joy was being felt by all of us, and just kind of this disbelief of like screaming up and down and just being like, what? This is absurd, but like totally deserved because we love this song too, and we love Zach. So it's just to feel that all again feels like we're back in 2013, and it's just so incredible to see, and we're all so proud of him.
Amy, speaking of going back to 2013, both of you guys were on the set. What was that like, the first day on the set, or was there a moment, for whatever reason, maybe a detail on the set, maybe a line in the script, was there a moment during your visit that just touched your heart more than others?
I think for most of us, there's the moment that we all saw Finn in his bald cap and dressed in Zach's clothes. That is something we'll never forget. For Laura, his mom, and for all of us when we got to visit, it just kind of took our breath away because it felt like Zach was in the room again. He was on Zach's crutches, and I think it's just a testament to what Justin was trying to do on set, to have the feeling of Zach being around. The fact that we felt it too makes it even more special. And I think something that we don't take for granted that we got to experience something like this.
Yeah, Justin, the director of the movie, who had a very close relationship with Zach. And Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, some of your clothes are in the movie as well, right?
Yeah, correct. Madison got to wear a couple of shirts that I wore from my dance studio, Woodbury Dance Center, and there's little nods to them in there too. And I think for all of us, even if they weren't our actual clothes, they looked at pictures of what we wore back then and tried to match it, just match our style and match the vibe. I know Sabrina wears a hat that Sammy wore a couple of times and is similar to what she wore back then too.
Sammy, you guys told me a little detail on the radio show that kind of blew me away when we were talking about the level of detail and the care that the director, Justin, put into the movie as far as duplicating real life as much as possible. Can you tell the folks about the recreation of Zach's Facebook page?
Yeah, so, going into this, we didn't know how much we would be involved, but Justin's a friend, and he was promising us from the very beginning that this wasn't his movie. This wasn't just Zach's movie. This was all of our movie. This is all of our story. So one way he did that was he asked us to send in some of our friends' Facebook photos from like 2013 era to include on Zach's Facebook feed. So if you pause the screen, you'll see maybe some faces you even recognize if you have any mutual friends, but it was a cool chance to kind of embarrass our friends.
Amy, I'll give you the last question here, and I know it seems like one of those generic questions, but I really do mean this because the song touched so many, and Zach saw that. What do you think Zach would think about the fact that his life, his inspiration, his message is a movie that is continuing to have a ripple effect of inspiration across the globe? What would he say about all this?
It's hard to put into words because I don't think we could have ever expected it, and we lived through it, but
yeah,
it all really blew up after Zach passed away. So I think for him to know that this is still happening and happening again, that it's just creating this new movement and continuing to raise money for his fund, he would be blown away and just so grateful for all the support that will eventually go back to research and hopefully find a cure for osteosarcoma.
Absolutely, and that's what this is all about. And we'll put links on this interview as well, because truly, that's what this is about, is finding a cure. Ladies, again, I'll end how I began. I appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing your life, and thank you for sharing your Zach with all of us.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clouds is available right now on Disney+. Absolutely watch it. It'll make you want to be a better human being. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Kendall's here with me again. How sweet were those ladies?
Oh my gosh, and so well spoken about something that's painful but also really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, because I would be crying every interview. I'd be a mess.
Cool.
But they're just, it's just, and Amy put it well. The fact that it's coming around again. This was 7 years ago, and the fact that it's wonderful that this message has had a second go around. Really hasn't stopped. They do the Clouds event at the Mall of America every year.
Right.
So the song has been inspiring people since 2013.
Right.
But now the movie will keep it going. Hey guys, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna wrap things up right after this. Wrapping things up for this Tuesday, this wintry Tuesday. Is it snowing yet? Do I want to know? I don't think I want to know.
I think it is.
Is it, crew? Is it snowing?
It hurts.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm looking at these. It is snowing now? Great. I got a thumbs up.
Give you the thumbs up.
I don't know. Should we just stay here all day today?
Just
I don't know if I want to
live
go
here.
outside. Let's just live. We'll stay here and let Randy Meyer wake us up
Yeah.
a little bit later for Fox 9 News. I don't think Randy Meyer has been in the studio ever. I don't think he knows where it is. Yeah. Tomorrow on the show, producer Ted reviews week 2 of Claire's journey to find love on The Bachelorette. Plus, we're chatting with a fashion expert about how the pandemic is changing the fashion industry. That's going to do it for us today. If you are a kid that's watching that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Drive safe, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.